All right, we're out here at 71 Oak Lane, Douglasville, Georgia, with an attempt to repair. Claim number, time is 12:18, temperature is 65 degrees. We're using the National Academy of Forensic Engineering repair standard. I'm gonna come over here, and this is an isolated shingle that's on its own by itself that has the damage. It was prescribed to be repaired by Safeco. So what I want to do is went ahead and marked it out. The green X shows the shingles with the crease. And here's another one as well. So this 3-tab shingle goes from here to here and is outlined in additional shingles. We're going to number as 1 and 2 that are directly below it, 3 and 4 directly beside it. You got 5 and 6 that are directly above it, and then shingle 7, which is directly above it. All the potential nail holes have been chalked in green, and you can see the outline of the shingle here that we have to remove. So in order to remove this shingle, I have to break loose the tabs on shingles 5 and 6 and on shingle 7 in order to expose my nails. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my approved 3-tab tool, which is the Roof Snake, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt to make sure that the shingle that I'm going to pull off is broken free. There we go, got all 3 tabs loose. So now I'm going to locate nails. So my first row of nails is going to be underneath shingles 5 and 6. So I'm going to start right here on the edge. I'm gonna go ahead and break shingle 6 and shingle 5 free of the damaged shingle, and then right above it, shingle 7, I'm gonna break these free as well to expose those nails. All right. Now, before I get started any farther, I want to go ahead and, if you could zoom in right above this pit chopper, you can see that there are no granules built up in this groove right here. Can you zoom in on that? Make sure they can see right in this groove. There's no shingles built up, so or no granules from the shingles. So we're gonna start right here. I'm gonna leave it here the entire time. Any shingles, any granules built up in here will be evidence of granule loss from this attempt to repair. All right. So now I'm gonna go ahead and locate my nails. Never lifting the shingles up above more than 45 degrees, just enough to locate my nail. Here I have one here. So I'm gonna come underneath my damaged shingle up into. So as I attempted to grab this nail with the fork of the pry bar, if you zoom in right here, Ellen, you can see the nail pulled through. The nail is still here and it came out of the shingle itself. So that is the first sign of damage outside of what needed to be repaired. So these shingles are very brittle. And as you can see, as I attempted to pull the nail through, it ripped through the shingle. All right, so I'm not too worried about this shingle. This is the one that we're trying to repair. Like I said, this is going towards repairability. So I'm never lifting this shingle up more than 45 degrees, just enough to locate my nail. All right, and it's the same thing here. As I carefully, you can hear my tool hitting the nail. So I'm as far in as this will go around that nail. So as I attempt to pull that nail out, we'll see. All right, you're gonna have to zoom in over here too if you can, Ellen. You can see where it pulled right through. So this nail and the shingle is so brittle that I can't even get the nail out without damaging the shingle. So now I have to reach underneath and pull that nail out because it pulled directly through the shingle. Now I got a big gaping hole where the nail used to be. All right, now again, this is the shingle that I'm wanting to replace, so I'm not too worried about it. Again, this just goes to repairability. All right, move over a little bit, and I'm gonna locate my nail here. Same situation, that nail up, and that nail pulled directly out below the shingle as well. So that's another, this shingles are way too brittle. So again, I located my nail here, come up in, and I got one that came out correctly. Okay. So that's that first row of nails has been removed. Now I'm gonna attempt to remove the second row of nails. Lift up the shingle just enough to identify where my nail is, which I have one here. And the edge of the shingle goes up through here, so I don't have another one in this area. So this is gonna be my first nail. So I'm gonna go up underneath my shingle, get up underneath the nail, and pry it out. And that one came out okay, without much damage. All right, now, same thing here. I'm gonna locate my nail, look underneath, and you can hear it hitting it. So as I attempt to pry it up, see what happens. And it pulled, if you zoom in on this right here, you can see that the giant hole that just created in shingle 5 trying to pull that nail out. You can kind of see with the tool sticking through it. It goes to the brittleness of this roof. Another one here. locate my nail, attempt to pry it out, and it did the same thing. This time, shingle 5, I gotta go up underneath it to pull it out. It ripped the head of this nail straight through the shingle. So now I have huge gaping holes on shingle 5. So I'm gonna come over to shingle 6, locate my nail here, come up underneath it, and attempt to do the exact same thing. See what happens, and it pulled right through. So now I'll come underneath shingle 6 to finish pulling my nail out. So now we've damaged shingle 5 and shingle 6, attempting to just remove the nails. So come up onto shingle 7. Make sure this shingle should be pretty loose. All right, slide the shingle out. We're going to inspect this shingle real quick. All right, since we have not identified what shingles are on this roof, and that Safeco hasn't identified what shingles to use as replacement, we're going to attempt to identify what shingles these are. Now these say Miami-Dade approved, which is just the, it's just writing on them. It doesn't really say the manufacturer of these shingles. So what we really need to do is send the shingle off for identification to find out what shingles these are. But since no shingle has been identified, we're here to do an attempt to repair and attempt to repair only to see if this roof's even repairable. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the same shingle we just pulled out and we're going to attempt to reinstall it just as we would a brand new shingle. That's going to still be the exact same processes as a new shingle, but as we're going to learn from this process if this roof is repairable or not. So now as I put that shingle back in, I'm going to line it back up just like it was. And I'm going to take my approved tool and I'm going to attempt to nail it back off. Grab some new nails. Okay, now, as you know, it ripped a big hole out of these shingles. So I have to use a different area to nail it now. So come here. Go ahead and nail that in. Pick it up. Nail on top. On this side. Find out, I guess, find a good spot. Now again, I'm not manipulating these shingles any more than I have to in order to see where my nail's going in. Make sure I'm driving them flush with the shingles. As you can see from this one right here, see how that nail went crooked? And it's due to this tool and attempting to put a nail in with this tool. So I'm gonna try to put another one in since that nail went crooked. As you can see, as I hold that here, it doesn't hold it the straightest. And if the shingle's down, it's hard to see. So try to get another nail in it. That one up and drove a little better. Attempt to nail it back in. All right, now I gotta pull the other nail out that didn't go in flush. That's that first row here of nails put back in. Now I'm going to attempt to put nails through back to the top. One nail. And again, I'm having to offset these nails from where they were nailed in at under shingle 5 and 6 because it tore a giant hole because the nail was pulled through. Now that that shingle's fully nailed back in, we're gonna go over a few little issues that we may have. Now again, I showed you there was no granules built up here at all on this pitch hopper, underneath this pitch hopper, or in front of it. The first thing I want to show before this gets moved is the amount of granule retention that we were seeing from this. So back up a little bit, and as you can see, with all the granules that fell off the area that we're working in. Now, granule loss is not a condition of wear and tear. We cause this damages. We cause the granule to come off of these shingles everywhere. Everywhere we're working, the granules came off. And if I move this out of the way, you can see a long line of granules that we built up in an attempt to repair this roof. Granules are a functional part of a shingle. You can see a giant pile of granules that we lost from the attempt to repair this roof. Now again, granules are not cosmetic. They serve a purpose on the shingle, and that losing them is a functional part, and it caused an issue of damage. The National Academy of Forensic Engineering states granule loss as being one of the main reasons and causes of repairs not to be, their roofs not to be repairable. Granule loss is a sign of a failed repair attempt. So next thing I want to talk about is mat transfer. Where we had to lift this shingle up off of this one, there's a glue tab here, here, and here. This glue tab bonds directly to the shingle above and below. Everywhere you look, there's a glue tab. So the shingles act in unison. When we break that glue tab, we're doing more damage to the shingles that we can't undo. Now on shingles 5 and 6, when I lifted these up, if you zoom right in, you can see where, if you come right up underneath here, I don't want to lift this up too much, you can see fiberglass showing where it ripped and torn, pulling it off that glue tab. We come in here, look for the same thing, and we got a little bit more right here as well. If you zoom in, it's hard to see. I know the lighting, I don't want to lift the shingles up too much, but you can see more fiberglass showing from underneath the shingle where it was bonded to the shingle below. And as I just touched this roof, you can see the granules falling off of it just from our manipulation of putting these nails back in. So showing all this granule loss right here is a direct result of attempting to replace this shingle, which, given the amount of damage and how brittle these shingles are, we're going to go ahead and deem this as a failed repair attempt. Just from touching it, you can see the granules falling off and decreasing, starting to show up right here. And it's just rubbing it, you can see the granules falling off these shingles. So we're going to call this a fail, and we're going to label every shingle that failed. So we have shingles 5 and 6, shingles 5, shingles 6, both had nails pull through, and mat transfer. Shingle 7, directly above it, also had mat transfer, which damaged the underside of the tabs, not to mention the amount of granule loss we're losing. So we have 3 additional shingles were damaged in an attempt to replace one individual shingle. So you can see right here in this area, if you zoom in, the amount of granule loss from attempting to manipulate these shingles. Here's more here. You can see the granule loss, more here. And you can see the creasing starting to form here on the edge of the shingle. All of that combined would make this a failed repair attempt. The shingles are not pliable enough to be able to pull 1 or 80. I think there was 88 shingles. 88 set to be repaired on this, prescribed by Safeco. That is an impossible repair to make on this roof, given the amount of damage it took just from trying to change one individual shingle out. So we have 3 shingles that took damage outside of this one. All right, you can end it.